Yo, what's going on? Storm Chasers, Kane fans, everyone tuned in, chopping it up. This is your boy, Brad Tejeda. You guys are tuned in to Category 6 Sports. I got my co-host, my guy, Big Homie. Big Homie,
Yes,
man, what's
sir.
going
Yes,
on?
sir.
How you feeling, brother?
Hey, man, blessed and highly favored. I can't complain. I can't complain.
Man, it's been a long time coming. I know the Kane fans, the Storm Chasers, and all the viewers and all the support and love, and even the hate that we've been getting on social media, man. The
Well
last
overdue.
week,
Well overdue.
last few weeks, man, it's been long anticipated for this show, this podcast, man. I can't wait for the great things that we have ahead for the Kane fans and everyone tuned in.
So most
Before we
definitely.
get started, man, and kind of do a general housekeeping of what this show is going to be like and a rundown of what today's topic is, man, I want to kind of just make sure these Storm Chasers and fans tuned in. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button for Category 6 Sports on all platforms, whether it's Spotify, podcast, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure you please show some love. That's Category 6 Sports on all platforms. Please make sure you show some love. But Big Homie, man, like you said, man, it's a blessing to finally be here, man.
Most definitely. And
we
we here.
it's been a while since us two have kind of joined together to really do a big
Greatest collab alive right here.
Man, hey, I tell you what, I know these Kane fans are ready to see what's in store for us. We're going to have a lot of not only great guests, right? Whether it's parents of players on the football team, players themselves from the football team. We'll be going behind the scenes in a lot of different areas, man. I know the cookout is just, a couple days, a week away from when we're shooting this, man. And for that, man, because we're going to have some great info for the Storm Chasers and Kane fans that are tuned in. But let's just start right off the bat, man, with some of the topics that we're going to get into our first show here at Category 6 Sports, man. And right off the bat, we got to talk about the most impactful freshman that is going to be going on this season. And when you talk about most impactful freshman, Big Homie, man, I mean, you got to go right off with two guys that are roommates, right? And that's Cameron Pruitt and Elijah Lofton. Well, Big Homie, bro, what give me your thoughts on that, bro, because I think those two alone, man. I kind of made a crazy comment on Twitter a while back, and people thought I was serious about how the Miami security heard loud noises at like 5 a.m, and they came up with a noise complaint, and it ended up being Elijah Lofton and Cam Pruitt's a room, and they end up knocking through the door, and they've been up for 27 hours watching film, bro. They're just that hungry, right? And people thought serious, man. But those just how hungry those two guys are. What do you feel about those two guys and just everyone else that we're bringing in this class, bro?
Both phenomenal gets. You got Elijah Lofton. He's very versatile. Coming out of Vegas, he can play the tight end, running back, play the running back very well. He played the running back in spring. We didn't get to see him at tight end a lot. And then Pruitt or whatever, he real nice. A little undersized, but I'm pretty sure this offseason they didn't work on that. Real good talent. I went to the spring game. He surprised me a lot. He surprised me. He stood out. Like, for him to be that size, and he like a tweener, but it's whatever he want to be, a safety, nickel, linebacker. He that type of actor. Both phenomenal gets. And them two right at the top of my list, but I'm going to have to put JoJo in there. I cannot see JoJo not making no plays. I definitely got JoJo one. Then we can go Elijah Lofton. Then we can go Pruitt. And my underdog got the whole class. I know he may not play this year, but it's definitely Chris Humphrey Wheatley. It's definitely Hellcat.
You got some Hellcat in you, okay?
I like what I seen out of him spring, how he's sticking between the tackles. It's like he's familiar with the offense. I know in his high school, came from a little high school, but they ran a lot of inside runs. They really hit the hole, got good vision. We didn't get to see him break in the spring, but trust me, that boy can fly. That's my top four. That's my top four.
It's interesting too, right? You mentioned those guys because the amount of guys that we're going to be talking about as far as that can make a true impact as a freshman or just contribute to the football team, right? Before we even dive into these guys, you got to look at how we did last year as a football team. We ended up being third, if I'm not mistaken, in college football for most freshman snaps behind Clemson and South Carolina. I believe Miami had like 2,710 snaps.
Yeah, Mario put them freshmen out there. Listen, you can't come here begging on a red shirt. You got to be ready to play. And that's what I like. I like he getting these day one guys that can play. You had Brown out there, Bang, Fletcher. Who else I'm missing?
I mean, so you have Francis Manoa that ended up
How could I forget
topping. He ended up topping the class last season with 865 snaps, if I'm not mistaken. Then you had Ruben Bain right behind him with 626 snaps. Damari Brown with 386 snaps, and then our guy Mark Fletcher just under 250 snaps. And if you really think about it, none of those guys.
All Mark Fletcher got is under 250 snaps.
250 snaps out there, bro. Isn't that crazy? And he's, I mean, you would feel like he's like an RB1. I know how you feel about our boy Mark.
Yeah,
right?
I know he missed. I think he got hurt A&M. He missed a few games, but I was still thinking more snaps than that. That's for what he was very productive. He was overproductive.
And
I
listen,
didn't know that stat.
And listen, at the top, we had Francis, and don't forget, he was hurt at the end of the year, so he didn't even play all year, and he almost topped 1,000 snaps for us. So you talk about, some of these guys like a Cam Pruitt, like you mentioned, like Elijah Lofton, who me personally, you look at the snaps that Francis had this past year. I think someone like Elijah Lofton is probably going to top that. I think Elijah is probably going to be floating around that 1,000 range at snaps, in my personal opinion, because we're going to be lining up Elijah Lofton all around the field, right? Whether it's H-back, tailback, fullback, tight end, on the outside. I mean, we're going to be using this guy like a Swiss Army knife, very similar to Brevin Jordan and others. And he's going to contribute a lot to the backfield as well, especially when you have a 1-2 punch in Damian Martinez and Mark Fletcher now. I think especially week one, using someone like Elijah Lofton, he's going to be like a cheat code for us going into that first game in Gainesville, man. And who's to say what happens to Elijah Royal all throughout the year? Obviously, we want him to be that tight end one this year, but he's never been healthy at all this year. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on a guy like Elijah Lofton to really bring a lot to the table. I think he's going to make a very big similar impact to how Ruben Bain did this past year. And then when you talk about not only Cameron Pruitt and Elijah Lofton, but you got some other guys, right? You mentioned our guy, JoJo, him Trader. I mean, he's one of my favorite recruits, not only in this class, but ever, man. He's just got that dog mentality. He's quiet, but when he gets on the football field, he is going to be heard everywhere he goes, man. He has hands that you cannot imagine, man. When he is in the air, he's a playmaker. He's got great route running ability. He's a guy that he has that old head football mentality already, bro. Like, you don't have to really worry about him doing it off the field. You don't see many gas station pictures, right, with JoJo Trader. My boy's not chilling in the gas station. He's chilling in the IPF like we are, right?
Get in the film room, in the weight room, one or the other.
Facts. But what about big homie? Tell me what about Zaquan Patterson, right? I think that's another guy.
He looked decent spring. Probably need to get a little bit more weight on him, but very high ceiling. The sky's the limit for the kid, Great feet work, great technician, work on his craft, enroll early. You can hit, you can feel that alley, hit. Just a phenomenal athlete, great get. Another great grit by the UM coaching staff. Some we ain't used to seeing, like, you feel me what I'm saying? We ain't seeing it.
Listen, I mean, bro.
He could work his way into the lineup. He could definitely work his way into the lineup.
Listen, I mean, there's no doubt about it. Zaquan Patterson is one of the gems in this class. He's a guy in the secondary that every school in the country would take a Zaquan Patterson in a heartbeat, right? And he's one of those guys you just had to land in your backyard. And luckily we were able to do that. But to your point, I mean, some of the recent coaching staff, Coach Adai and some of these other guys, man, we just weren't landing those big fish. And the guys, not even in our backyard, but in the central part of Florida and even on the outskirts of the states, whether it's Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, right? And we'll get into that later in the show about our current cornerback, Coach Sevin Jackson, who's just been doing an excellent job, and Coach Guidry and others. But Zaquan Patterson, bro, I like that one, big homie. What about, there's some sleepers. I know every recruiting class, some of us, we fall in love with that one recruit that's maybe a high 2-star or low 3-star, or a guy that just doesn't get enough love.
I told you, Hellcat for me.
Hellcat for you, right? I think.
Who you got?
Man, it's a tough one, right? I think one of those guys is definitely Ryan Mack. I think Ryan Mack is a guy that, coming from St. Thomas Aquinas, he obviously wasn't here at the beginning with some of these other freshmen. He's coming in later in, but he's coming from a program, bro.
You know who we forgetting about? Jordan Lyles.
Oh, Jordan Lyle. I mean, all the St. Thomas.
Say Jordan Lyles' name,
bro. All the STA boys, man. Romanus, Jordan
Oh,
Lyle,
Chance Robinson
Chance.
too.
Bro,
We
all these
getting a
guys
lot
are
of
ready,
names.
bro. They're fitting into the program very quickly because they're coming from a program like St. Thomas Aquinas that gets them ready right away, right? They're obviously a school that they can't early enroll into a school at UM. But those guys, especially Ryan Mack, man, especially his father's background, his background, what he brings to the table. He's a guy you don't have to worry about off the field, and he's going to be hungry right away. And I think that DB room is for the taking for these young guys, man. They're going to have to find ways to get on the football field, man. So I really do like Ryan Day, but if I had to say one, bro, man, it's a close one, bro. But I think it's going to have to be my boy, none other than Cole McConnell.
Oh, yeah. You forgot about him, too. Yeah.
Our boy Jay Johnson
good.
calls him a funky Cole Medina, man. But Cole McConaughey, I don't know if it's because he's a white boy wearing 44, or he's just or if he's just like that on the football field. But when you talk to him, I've been able to chop it up to him with a bunch of times, man. And this is a kid that is super hungry off the football field. If Mario Cristobal had another kid that was playing high school football right now and the mentality he brought to the football field, Cole McConaughey is a spitting replica of what Mario brings. And he's a guy that's already physically ready. You saw him make a quick impact in the spring game, right? Him and Marquise Lightfoot, who's another guy, right? Shout out to our guy, Marquise Lightfoot.
When you speak on yet. Scott.
Yes. Justin Scott. Yeah. For Chicago, Illinois, man. I mean, that's a state of Illinois that I know the coach, had some hard feelings with Coach Mario Cristobal, but we're gonna be getting very familiar with that area, I think, very soon here in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, with another guy in that area, which we'll talk about later on. But man, we talked about Cameron Pruitt, Elijah Lofton, JoJo Trader, Zaquan Patterson. There's a bunch of guys like we talked about, right? But there's also some guys from last year's class that unfortunately didn't hit your Greyhound, right? It wasn't the Jaden Waynes of the world. It wasn't Marcellus Pulliam or Demetrius Freeney or some of these other guys. By the way, how much did the Greyhound tickets cost for a round trip for those boys? I know you ended up taking care of that.
Hey man, listen. If you come to UM, right, it's a standard. If you can't really come out, like I see what Mario trying to do. He jumping out early this year. We already in the top 10 big get today. If you're not ready and we get you on the field and you ain't showing nothing, man, listen, you can't stick around. The UM changing. This ain't the second-hand football team. You got to go. You got to go immediately, expeditiously. You got to bow your head. You got to go.
Listen,
this ain't gonna be no. I'm gonna sit here and then I'm gonna develop. Yeah, it's a certain type of develop. When they trying to develop you, they at least want you to be somewhat of their standard of an athlete that they seen on film, and they think you're gonna carry over to college. If you can't do that, then it's no room for you here. You're gonna have to go. And he already showed you that he's not playing. If you want to leave, he ain't trying to make nobody stay. We would not be held prisoner. What he said, it won't happen again, and he's showing that because they jumped on there.
Hey, listen, big homie, I know you're not afraid to kind of throw right off the bat who you feel like may already need to be on the Greyhound before snaps are even played this football season. And before we get into that list and some of the guys you think, some of these guys got a second chance, big homie. Some of these guys, you looked at their Greyhound ticket and you kind of looked at it a little funny, and you say, you know what, man, I'm gonna let you ride this time, man. Go back to the IPF, go back to Carol Soffer, and we'll see what you could do. And you were very lucky on some of these guys. Guys like Pancake, right? Mm-hmm. Pancake, who didn't play much last year. I know there were some rumors floating around that maybe he might have hit the portal.
He got to show me something this year.
A guy like Bobby Washington, who only had 35 snaps last year, right? And Chris Johnson. I know the new football game recently came out, and that's a favorite in the video game who you put him with the ball and he turns that corner and see you later, right? But we haven't seen him much on the football field. That's another guy that he only had 22 snaps last year, big homie. So these guys ended up redshirting this past year, got another chance to not have to hit the Greyhound, right? So what do you think about those three guys in particular? Like out of those three in specific with Pancake, Bobby, and Chris Johnson, where do you feel like those three lie, and who could potentially either be a starter or be a guy where it's like, there's no way this dude's getting on the Greyhound, or maybe it's his time to hit the Greyhound?
Okay, that's an easy one. If Pancake don't start, he may have to go because you a 5-star. Yeah, you're a 5-star athlete. You got to show something. Francis can't. I ain't saying you got to be the same level as the next 5-star, but he ain't showed me nothing yet. He need to be on the field this year. We didn't. You know what I'm saying? It's an NIL era. Let's be honest. You're getting paid, and you're getting paid probably higher than 80% of the team. So if you're not starting this year, that's a great area that need to be checked. He need to be August 31st. He needs to be out there starting. I don't want no excuses. He need to be starting, and he needs to be performing at a high level. He shouldn't be performing at any. If he performs at a high level, our offense go a whole nother dynamic because you already got the 2 running backs with Fletcher. He announced that he back for this season, and then you got Martinez coming from Oregon State. So if you come out there and you get on the field, then we got to switch with McCoy. Then who, Lord knows, Cristobal come in. He need to lock down the left guard position ASAP.
And
now,
Big
Bobby Washington, I gotta see. I haven't seen Bobby on the field, so I really can't give you. But Chris Johnson, the backfield loaded, but Shannon Dawson got to find a way to get him out in open space because that's too much speed out there. He got to at least play kickoff return.
And with Samson, big homie, is kind of interesting, right? Because that left guard battle is going to be very tempting to watch going into fall camp, right? Because it's going to be between him and McCoy, right? And I don't see
a war zone.
And I don't see either one of them wanting to be that 6-man, like you said. So it's like the odd man out of that choice. It's like, what's going to happen throughout the football season? Because that doesn't even, we haven't even talked about Markel Bell and what he could possibly bring to the table. If he ends up being that guy at tackle, then you might be able to move someone like Francis inside a guard, and then that kind of drops both of them out the picture, right? So now it's kind of like, man, bro, that is going to be very interesting to watch going into fall ball, for real. And man, after talking about these impactful freshman guys that we're very looking forward to, I kind of want to, bring it back to some of the current events that's kind of been happening throughout sports, right? Obviously this is a very heavy Canes football related show, but every daily show, whether it's Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, man, we're going to have to talk about, I know we got the Olympics coming up, but right now, this college football game has been the hottest thing out, right? We've been waiting a very long time for this game, and recently came out past week, man.
Them boys going crazy right now,
bro. Man. I know everybody's been going crazy. I saw. I'm a Dallas bro. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, right? And I saw the other day a clip of CD Lamb, and he was coming in to work out with his personal trainer, and the personal trainer was looking at him, right? And he was like, "Bro, you look a little tired." He's like, "Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I was playing NCAA till 4 in the morning."
Everybody on it.
I'm like, everybody is on this thing, bro. Everybody is on this thing. I mean, I even saw your boy Wesley Bissainthe. It was crazy, bro. When I first saw some of the things on the game, right, specifically with our team, the University of Miami, I almost thought you had something to do with this, right? Because I saw Wesley Bissainthe, and I saw somebody going through their general season, right, and they had Wesley Bissainthe as a persuasion chance of medium to transfer and enter the portal. I'm like, oh my God, are they listening to Big Homie? Because I know Big Homie was talking about Wesley possibly hitting the portal last season. And we're going into this college football game, and he's got a medium chance to hit the portal. I'm like, oh my goodness, Big Homie, bro, you got something to do with this?
No, I don't got nothing to do with it. This is what Wesley Bissainthe need to do. Wesley Bissainthe need to be first team All ACC, which I know he can be. Yeah. He need to be it's a first team All ACC. He need to get more than 20-something solos. He need to get that up to 50 and then 30. He need to get 70, 80 tackles this season. I need him to play every game like he did at Florida State. I can't play with Wesley Bissainthe. This is Wesley Bissainthe third year. And if we're going to go to what we want to be, he got to be an outstanding player this year. He got to turn it up.
And it's interesting that you feel that way too, because I know you got some high praise for some of the Miami Central guys that we've gotten recently in this recruiting class, right? These are some guys that you might feel like could be some guys right off the bat. I know the linebacker Ezekiel Marcellin is a guy that you're pretty high on. Amari Wallace is another guy. So I know Miami Central is a program that we deep dive into every single year. And hopefully, some of these guys that we're talking about, especially like Wesley, could bring it around this third year, man. But before we get back into some of the current events, man, we got to take a quick commercial break for our sponsors, man. So we'll be right back here at Category 6 Sports. Today's segment is brought to you by our guy, Coach Ferg at Slab Kitchen in Daytona Beach, Florida. If you want the best slab sauce in the state, head on over to 467 South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Not only can you get the famous slab sauce in a bottle to take at home and put in your kitchen, but you also got the double backhand sandwich, which is a combination of a grilled cheese and a cheeseburger. You got your normal shrimp, your chicken wings, and of course, tons of fresh choices of lemonade. My personal favorite being the blue raspberry blow pop. So please go stop, show some love to Coach Ferg at Slab Kitchen over on 467 South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Daytona Beach, Florida. That's 467 South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Daytona Beach, Florida. Man, we are back here at Category 6 Sports. Our Storm Chasers viewers, live viewers tuned in, man. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button with me and my boy Big Homie, man. We're going to be doing this weekly, daily, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, man. Y'all know it. We're going to be bringing a lot of heat to the table, bro. I'm talking about some fire content with some current players on the team, parents of the team, coaches. We're going to be bringing a lot of familiar faces that a lot of fans are tuned into. And then also we're going to show some love to the fans throughout the week as well, man, especially some of our people in our live spaces that we have on a daily basis. I know, Big Homie, man, you do great stuff in that. We'll talk a little bit about that later on when we check in with the ops, man. But let's get right back into some of the current sports, man. I know we were talking a little bit earlier before the commercial break about the college football game that recently came out, some of the ratings and whatnot. Man, I even saw – bro, I even saw Florida and Billy Napier, right? I saw Florida and Billy Napier have a freshman right guard from Hialeah, Florida, and he was like 6'2", 250 pounds. I'm like, bro, that's perfect in the Billy Napier recruiting staff, man. That hits it right on the head. A 6'2" guard from Hialeah, Florida, going to the University of Florida. I'm like, man, this game is pretty realistic.
If they don't get Vernell Brown tomorrow, they're in trouble.
Oh man, I think they get Vernell.
They did. They're in trouble.
I think they get Vernell. That's heavy Florida ties with him and his father, right? But I think at the end of the day, when games get played, that's going to be a program, man. I know August 31st is right around the corner. Live show during that event as well, man. So make sure y'all are tuned in to Category 6 Sports, man, because we're going to be having a live event August 31st for the Florida-Miami game. We're going to have a live tailgate. A bunch of the fam's going to be there, man. We're going to be doing some live interviews with some students walking by, man. It's going to be great. I can't wait to chop it up and see a big-time W in Gainesville in my backyard when Miami beats the crap out of Florida Gators, man. It's going to be built to ass season. You already know. But, bro, not only has this football game came out and people are just heavy into the video game world right now, right? But there's some other things that are going to be coming up here shortly, right? And I'm talking about the ACC Media Day. They call me. What's your thoughts on the three guys that Miami and Mario have ended up getting to go to ACC Media Day? I'm talking about Cameron Ward, Jalen Rivers, and Kiko Mainoa. Give me your thoughts on that, bro. Like, how do you feel?
Ruben Bain should have been there. Period. That's your leader on your team. Obviously, of course, Cam Ward, but your guy that really stood on business last year and led by example, I think Ruben Bain should have been one of them three. I think he should have been one of the three because when you got both your starting defensive ends got hurt last year, he stepped in there and he did a phenomenal job. Freshman All-American. We seen what he did Clemson game. We seen what he did. No, we seen him. Like, he was a standout from day one. And he won a 5-star, should have been, because he outperformed all the 5-stars that was 5-star last year. Definitely the two boys from Clemson, when they went head-to-head, you seen what happened. He's an animal. I definitely think Ruben Bain should have been in there, but, this only going to get him hungrier. He that type of athlete. I definitely think Ruben Bain should have been there, hands down.
Nah, Ruben Bain is our guy, right? That's a dude that anything football related that comes to the Miami Hurricanes, I don't care if it's a little kid's birthday party and we need a player on the team to go do whatever needs to be done. It's got to be Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain is everybody. That it should be on the top of the list for everything Miami Hurricanes related, man.
Bingo.
He is a great player on and off the football field. He is what you want in a Miami Hurricane football player. But bro, I think, he's only a sophomore, right? I think as great as he was last year, this is his sophomore season. I think a lot of expectations are going to be on the young man, and I think he's going to measure out to that just because of the way he is built as a person, who the family ties he has, how hungry he is, the way he works himself on and off the football field. I don't have a worry in my mind that he's going to have another good season this sophomore year. But when it comes to the ACC Media Day, I really do feel like it kind of fits the seniority, right? You kind of want guys that this is kind of their last go around. And not only that, but like when the camera turns on and there's an interview that needs to happen, right? You need that direct message of what Mario kind of instills in the program to really be about. And me personally, as great as Ruben Bain is, I feel like the way Mario wants to be presented as far as social media wise, just interview wise, I think the three guys that he picks like hit it right on the head. These are all guys that like when you interview them, I mean, they light up and they answer all the questions exactly how they need to be said. And these are all guys that are, again, senior guys or guys that this is their last year pretty much at the program. They know what needs to be done to have a successful year this year with Mario Cristobal. I mean, you got two Washington State guys and Kiko and Cam Ward that'll be there. So I'm sure that'll be a cool topic that they'll bring up. And then you got a guy in Jalen Rivers, right? That's really just transformed himself from a freshman to a senior now and has really been that offensive lineman that has been just super consistent throughout his career and what he's going to bring to the table. I think just from an interview standpoint, man, he does everything you want as well. So I really do like the three choices, but I think Ruben Bain, like you said, man, that's got to be a guy at the top of the list too. And I'm pretty sure it's confirmed. I'm not 100% confirmed, but we'll find out, obviously. But those are three names that I'm really looking forward to. But then you also got some other things, big homie, that we're looking forward to.
What's that?
This upcoming weekend, big homie. You know me, man. I'm all about recruiting when it comes to the offseason. We still got 40 plus days away till belt to ass season against
6 weekends.
Yeah, man, we got 6 weekends. But next weekend, big homie, we got the cookout, right? And that last weekend of July, man, I'm talking about there's gonna be some nice fireworks. I heard a few names that are committed to other programs, big homie, that are gonna be stopping by. And
who you hearing? Tell me who you hearing.
Oh man, you already know how the ear hit the streets, man. I already know. But guys like maybe Dallas Wilson, maybe stopping by, right? I heard we may need some French onion dip with some chips, man, and Jamie French. So I think Jamie French might be stopping by. That's a guy that I think a lot of Miami Hurricane fans need to start looking out for because he could be making an announcement, in the next month or two if he wanted to. And I know Miami is very high on his board, and it's a top 1-2 receiver that we've been looking at to close on. Must get, right? Bro,
he don't even need to lead a barbecue unless he committed. He's a must get.
Listen,
you must get this cycle.
What's your like must food items at this barbecue? Like if Mario hits you up tomorrow and was like, big homie, I need you at the barbecue. What items are you letting Mario know? Like, hey, bro, if I'm coming to this barbecue, you better have this on the table waiting for me.
Boy, I better have some 5 ribs, chicken. It better be grilled right all the way through. I don't want no, you know what I'm saying? I don't need no bad griller. I need the baked beans, mac and cheese. You know what I'm saying? Green bean. I need all that.
You want the
all that at the barbecue, man.
You want the Florida Gator mac and cheese with the mayo in it?
No, I don't even want nothing Florida Gator.
The Peyton Kirkland edition? No,
I don't want nothing Florida Gator.
Oh man,
Gator at home.
Right. Hey man, speaking of Gator, we'll talk about it all throughout the week when we're doing our shows, man. But we're gonna be having some Gator Tail August 31st for this live tailgate show. So yes, sir. We're gonna have a 7-foot and a 10-foot gator, I believe, man. We're gonna have one chilling, racked up, ready for everybody to walk by and just see the before massacre of 3:30, and then we're also gonna have some fried gator tail too, man. So I think it's gonna be great times with Gator Tail and Florida Gator Miami football August 31st. But according to Phil Steele, big homie, I saw that Miami ranks top 15 in the country preseason wise in a lot of different categories, bro. I'm talking we're top 10 in the country at quarterback. We're top 10 in the country at running back. We're number 11 in the wide receiver room after adding some good pieces, right? We're top 10 in the country at offensive line starting at number 7. And then when you look at the defense side of the ball, we're number 12 on the defensive line, number 15 at linebacker, and number 37 in secondary. So when you really give a complete rundown from every position group, bro, we are top 15 in every position group in the country preseason besides the secondary, bro. Like, how stacked Can you imagine that being, bro? Like, is this a season, bro, where it's got to be a must 10, 11 wins?
You gotta win. No, you can't win 10 because 10 is danger zone this year for the schedule you playing. Only good teams you really playing are, I would say, obviously Florida State, and then maybe Louisville away. So you got to win 11 or 12 games. You got to really go all out this year and be consistent. You can't be losing them close games. You can't be have a game won and lose, give it away and lose it. You got to be 11, 12 win. You got to make the playoffs this year with this schedule. And you got to win the ACC.
Oh, shit. So it's playoff or bust for Big Homie.
Bingo. And when you get in the playoffs, you got to win a game. It's got to be a statement year. Just don't get to the playoffs and lose.
Ooh, shit.
No. You need to win the ACC. You need to win a playoff game. And before all that, you got to beat all these ACC teams finally, convincingly. You don't need to be. I mean, you don't play a few games close. That's just how football go. But when you're playing Wake Forest, Syracuse, Duke, all these teams you've been losing to and battling, going to overtime with, that got to be ceased. You got to win 11 or 12. You got to go to the playoffs. You only got one game to spare, and you really don't need to spare a game. You need to take off on Florida the first game, and you need to be dominant the rest of the season, period. That's the only way I'm looking at it. Look at this roster. We ain't seen nothing like this since when.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, you know what, Storm Chasers? Let me know right now why me and Big Homie are talking about this. Like, what's the minimum games for y'all Storm Chasers where you feel like
let me know the minimum
to be
game.
right? I know Big Homie standing on at least 11, got to make the playoffs, ACC championships. I'm feeling at least 10, right? I think at least 10 wins minimum has to happen for this football season. But I need the Storm Chasers and the live viewers to drop some comments and let us know what's your bare minimum.
Please let me know, because if you're saying 9 and you think we're gonna make the playoffs,
no, I think 10.
No, I'm talking in general 10. To the people.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You got to be on some powder or something, because you're not getting in the playoffs making 9, and you're not getting the. You may not get in making 10, because let's say, for instance, you lose to Florida State and Clemson beat Florida State and don't lose to nobody. Them your top 2 ACC teams.
Facts.
Now you in third place. Outlook, come on, man, you're gonna be too far back. They already just showed you what they'll do to the ACC. Now you got 12 teams. How many people you think they're going to get from the SEC? How many people you think they're going to get from the Big 10? You know, Big 12 going to have Utah or one of them teams. You risking, and then they got to get a G5 team. You risking it. No, you got to win them all, basically.
Listen, you can't win them all, right? And that's not only on the football field, but also in recruiting too, man. I know a lot of fans, you know, we're jumping on a lot of this coaching staff, especially early on. People don't realize it's July, Big Homie. I know this time last season, we had our rivals in Florida that were jumping up and down. They were number 1, number 2, number 3 in recruiting. Something this time in July, and guess what happened? Full turnaround, full circle. They see how Darius Hayes flipped the University of Miami, and they plummet in the recruiting rankings, man. So we'll get into the ops later on, man. But we talk about this 11, 10 wins. Right. But in order for these things to happen, if they don't happen, Big Homie, there's going to be some coaches on the staff that are on the hot seat, bro. Like, because I already know we already agree, along with everyone else, that with this roster, bro, like we just talked about Phil Steele's preseason, how every position group is within the top 15 besides the secondary. We're already stacked. We're already loaded. All the fans that have been playing our team in NCAA, you see how fun, how easy it is getting the W and throwing the top off, right? We got to perform this year. And if we don't, some coaches are going to be on the hot seat, not just Mario Cristobal, bro. Like right off the bat, who do you feel like coaches-wise are going to be on the hot seat?
Shannon Dawson. If you can't outscore, I don't listen. This may sound crazy to you, even though I love Gidry to death. It's going to be some games you're going to be in a shootout. Alabama do this. LSU do this. Ole Miss do this. There's a lot of teams out here getting shootouts all around the country. Don't matter. Oregon, don't matter. With that offense you have, if the defense is giving up points, you should still be scoring. This team should average 35 or more points a game easily. You got 2 stud running backs. You got a quarterback that should cry all last year that you didn't have. Now you got a quarterback, mobile, can extend the play, look downfield. Then you got an offensive line come on, you got receivers, you got a tight end, you got the freshman, you got too much on this offense. If he don't get it done this year, he done. He got to hit the Greyhound. He got to go ahead and, right his wrongs somewhere else. I don't know what to tell him, because if he cannot score consistently with this offense, I understand it may be one game, but if you lose because the offense is stalling and it's all out of sync, man, you got to go. I think last year it was some games, some real questionable calls. Definitely in the Louisville on the 4-yard line. That's unacceptable. Don't get all the way. You ran the ball all the way down there. You caught a whatever pass or whatever, but you get down on the 4-yard line. You told me you're gonna be a tough, physical, smash mouth football team. But then you're throwing the ball, and then you're not throwing a fade. I don't know what the route concept was down there. That's one game. You didn't score NC State. Florida State, you had the lead in the third quarter, 13-10. It was just so many games out of sync. And then the Georgia Tech game, I don't know what that was about at the end of the game. You cannot have them mistakes at all this year. You need to win all them games, and you need to win dominant. We don't need to be winning 10-14 or 10-21. No, the people are coming out to see you score 35 or more points. And that's all I got to say about Shannon Dawson. Shannon Dawson, I love you to death, but you got to get it right.
Oh, you already got the Greyhound ticket pre-ordered for him?
If it don't get done, that's the only way I can see it not get done. If the offense just stall.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you what. If he don't get it done this year, bro, we gonna at least tell him to put in the category 6 coupon code to at least get a 10% off the Greyhound ticket or something.
Man, something.
Because last year, I will say, man, with TVD at quarterback, he had to be handcuffed, man. I clearly remember the interview he had.
You think he was handcuffed?
Listen now. I clearly remember the interview that he had with Josh Pate. Shout out to our boy Josh Pate. Me and him chop it up from time to time on X, man. And with Josh Pate's interview before the season last year, right, he had a rundown where he was in the film room with Josh Pate, and they kind of looked at the tendencies of TVD and what he brings to the table. And he clearly said, he was like, I'm gonna only do the strong suits of what benefits the quarterback. So every week I'm gonna bring up these plays to him, and I'm gonna say, are you comfortable with this play? No. If you're kind of comfortable or you're not comfortable, we're throwing it out. We're only going with the plays that you're comfortable with every week. And guess what, big homie? You and I both know that boy TVD was very uncomfortable all year. The boy had no buckle seat. He was going on bumpy roads, jumping up and down. The dude was uncomfortable. Right. So I don't know, bro. But this year you got Cam Ward. You got a dude that wakes up and throws 3,500 yards every single season at bare minimum, 30, 40 plus touchdowns. And you got 2 running backs, one that averages 1,000 yards each season. And you brought in 3 wide receivers that all had over 800 yards last year, and a good proven offensive line from this last season, man. So yes, this offense, Shannon Dawson is definitely on the hot seat if we don't get it done this year. I agree, bro.
There we go.
I agree. If he doesn't get it done this year with the weapons,
I just want to make sure I ain't tripping.
Hey, listen, you're gonna be bowing my head a lot throughout the shows, but this is not gonna be one of them, because Shannon Dawson.
Yeah, I was going to tell you bow your head if you would have said anything other than Shannon Dawson.
Listen. If he don't get it done this year, I'm right there with you. That boy Shannon definitely is gonna have to hit the Greyhound. But on the defensive side of the ball, bro, like I think the defensive tackle room, I know Coach Joe gets a lot of shade here and there with the recruiting standpoint, right? But when it comes to productivity, development, and what needs to be done on the football field this year, bro, we have a very big group of guys that we're going to be able to alternate and switch throughout the football season, man, that we really brought in from either other programs like Marley Cook, CJ Clark. We brought in Simeon Barrow from Michigan State, right? And then we got some young guns, man. We got some guys, Justin Scott, Josh Horton, and others that I really feel like are going to push the room as well, man. We got about 6 or 7 defensive tackles that really could go in there and throw some productivity, right? Last year we didn't have that. So I think the defensive tackle room on the defensive side of the ball, Coach Joe, I'm really interested to see what he does, and also Coach Shevis Jackson as well. And we'll talk about Coach Shevis Jackson and check in with the ops here right after this commercial break, man, here at Category 6 Sports. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe button with me and my guy, Big Homie. We're going to be doing this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, man. Make sure y'all chop it up. Hit that like button. This is Category 6 Sports, man. When we're talking Canes and Gators, you know the temperature is always hot, but so is the Gator Nuggets over at Henry Lee's Southern Barbecue Food Truck in Dade City, Florida. They're open from 12 to 7 on Wednesdays and Thursdays, 12 to 8 on Fridays, and you can also follow them on X at Alda_the_wild to check out where they will be daily on their locations. You can also call them at 352-410-0754. Not only do they have the best Gator Nuggets I've ever tasted, but they also got the popular lemon pepper Gator Nuggets as well. So please make sure you stop by Henry Lee's Southern Barbecue Food Truck in Dade City, Florida. They're open from 12 to 7 on Wednesdays and Thursdays, 12 to 8 on Fridays. And you can also reach them at 352-410-0754 and also on X. That's at Alda_the_wild. Yo, we are back here at Category 6 Sports.
Yes,
Me and
sir.
our guy, big homie, man. We were just done talking about some of the coaches that need to be on the hot seat if we don't win at least 10, 11 games minimum this year, other than Mario Cristobal. I mean, we both agreed Shannon Dawson's definitely on the top of the list. I think Coach Joe Salavea and a couple other guys will be somebody to watch it. With some of the, I mean, like I said,
Wait a minute. You Coach Joe?
listen, bro. Like I said, man, I think with the guys we got in the room now, bro, we brought in so many transfers that were productive at other programs where unless they get injured, bro, these guys, you got to find ways to get all these guys on the football field because Jason Taylor is going to do the same thing with all these defensive ends that we're bringing in, right? Like you're not going to be able to throw Ruben Bain, Mesidor, Tyler Barron, and Elijah Austin. They can't all play at once, right? So you're going to have to find creative ways to get all these boys their reps and their play time, along with a Marquise Lightfoot and a Cole McConaughey and a Malik Bryant, right? Malik Bryant's going to throw some pressure in there.
Brad, I'm sorry to break the news to you. Everybody not playing.
Oh, hey, listen.
No, it don't work. It's not pop one and everybody get their 3 plays and not, Brad. Everybody not playing. Somebody going to be mad, and somebody just going to hit the Greyhound. It's a competition out there starting August 1st or whenever the first fall practice is. It is not going to be no just, hey, can I play? No, none of that soft stuff no more, Brad. So what you saying, if Joe don't put you out there, Coach Joe don't put you out there, you didn't deserve to be out there.
Nah, you're right, bro.
Everybody can't play
on that.
Everybody can't play.
I do feel like, but if you really, but look though, last year and the years prior, not only on our roster, but when you just look in college football, the Georgias and other programs, they have like a good 8 to 10 guys that get quality snaps, whether it's like 30 to 50 range. I'm not saying all these guys are going to get starter snaps, but you have to find ways to be creative to be able to use Elijah Austin like in a NASCAR package, right? Or be able to use Akeem Mesidor inside outside when needed, or when you need to have a Justice Scott or a Anthony Campbell in there at times. Like you got to be able to use
bow your head. Everybody not playing this year, Brad. I'm sorry. We stack. If you don't earn it, you're not gonna get in. We don't have to be unique. We need to stick with the script, get us a rotation, and go with the best 2 deep or whatever we can do. Because guess what? We're not patty caking no more, Brad. This is a big season. We must make the playoffs. We must win the ACC to get to secure a spot in the playoffs. And we don't got time to play, Brad. We don't got time to babysit no more. I'm sorry, Brad. If they don't make the starting lineup fall and or during the season, they're not busting their ass in practice and showing something, I'm not sorry. We need the best players out there.
So listen, we're gonna revisit this like first, second week of August
sure.
when we start getting the news, you know, of fall practice, how it's going, especially this defensive line room. We're gonna start, especially you. I know you're gonna create your own Greyhound list before the season starts. So we're gonna see if some of these names pop up because, like you said, you know, not everyone's gonna be able to get that play time that they want. So I mean, we'll see what happens. But one thing I know for sure, big homie, I know a lot of these ops, whether it's Florida State, Florida fans, are very upset of what we've been doing on the recruiting trail lately, especially in that secondary, right? Mario Cristobal and this staff have put up a plan and a priority where first year he was here, it was offensive line. We got it together, right? Last year, we already saw what it was in the defensive line room. This year, we got the secondary popping right now, and Coach had died. I don't know what he was doing in the past couple of years, bro.
He wasn't doing anything.
But
That's why you didn't know, because he wasn't
we
doing
brought
anything. I'm happy he gone.
we brought big homie. We brought a guy from Marshall, right? Shout out to
Dog.
Marshall for I mean, they've been playing football for ages, and I don't think they've accomplished much at Marshall in football. But you know
Except
what
for
they
Randy
did?
Moss and Brian
They
Left.
they gave us an alley-oop with Coach Chevis Jackson, man. So
Yeah.
shout out to Marshall for that. I mean,
I
look
just
at
figured out last night that LSU wanted him as DB coach over Corey Raymond. That was somebody told me. I
really.
don't know how true that is, but he also played for LSU, so it makes sense.
Oh.
Hell of a job on the trail right now.
Oh,
Two stud safeties in Wallace. You got Drake. You got the nice DB from Alabama I like.
Yep,
And then
Timothy
you just got your
Jabari.
boy today, Lil Boosie. That's what they call him, Lil Boosie. Slime. Yeah.
Jabari Antoine, man.
That's
That
4
kid, bro.
DBs already.
That kid plays it all, man. He plays quarterback for his football team. He could go up and play wide receiver if needed. And when he's on the secondary, bro, he's a ball hawk. He goes up and gets it. He plays all over the football field, man. When you look at the DB class, not only this year as a whole, like while we're looking at right now with Coach Chevis Jackson, what he's been able to do in the short time here, but like, bro, Jabari Antoine alone. I mean, I know he's not the highest rated guy in our room right now. That actually is Hilton Drake Stubbs. So shout out to Hilton Drake Stubbs, who possibly, may join the show, in the future. But with Jabari Antoine, man, when you turn on his tape, bro, not only like does it pop right away, but when you look at the last 10, 15 years, bro, I think other than Tracy Howard and maybe like Damari Brown, bro, Jabari Antoine is like one of the biggest gets in the DB class that we've gotten, especially at corner, in a very long time, bro. What do you think about Jabari Antoine?
Definitely. Cornerbacks been real, they've been suspect. Our DBs, a lot of blown coverages the last, I don't know how many years. It'll be 4th and 13, or 3rd and 25. We seen it all with North Carolina, Florida State. I think he's filling that void we've been missing. It looked like the cat got a lot of energy. I've been hearing great things about him. I love this addition to the coach staff. Then he already coached with Gidger, so it's chemistry there. Then this guy is getting out recruiting. He's showing he putting his foot down. He's standing on business. This is what I like about this coach right here. This is a great pickup. I like what I seen in the spring game with the DBs. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, Cam Ward threw for all these yards." They don't know football. They don't know what's going on. You can't even hit nobody like that. They was in great position throughout the whole game. I like what I seen in the DBs. I like how they was fluid and very fundamental, sound. Other than that, I'm liking what this guy doing. Definitely on the recruiting trail. Now, he may have missed out on that Pickett, but it's all good because he already got 4 DBs already. It's July. He got 4 DBs. He just getting there. He ain't even coached a game yet. A recruiter and a coach. He don't got to babysit.
And we haven't seen what he could do on the development side, man. But I'm excited to see what he brings to the table, man, because he's got a lot of toys and weapons to play with this upcoming season, man. With Zaquan Patterson, Markeith Williams, there, hopefully to help some Jaden Harris and Mish Powell, right? That's going to be the 4 guys that he's going to be using the most. And then, of course, our guy Cam Pruitt is going to be playing around in that defense in all different positions wherever they could use him. But when you look at this recruiting class that Chevis is doing, man, I mean, Drake Stubbs and Jabari, and then you got Timothy Merritt from Alabama, who is going to play majority safety, in my opinion, at Miami. So really, you got 3 safeties and 2 corners right now, and we still got Ben Hanks on the board that we're going to continue.
You think he'll play safety?
Who, Timothy Merritt? Yeah, I think Timothy Merritt's going to play safety for us. Yeah.
Okay.
His freshman year, he played mostly corner. His sophomore year, he played mostly safety. And then this year, he's going to be playing mostly safety as well. But he's the best player on the defense side of the ball, so they're going to use him everywhere. But they're going to try to play him safety when they can. He's pretty much the captain of the team on defense, so they're going to line him up anywhere they can. But with him, Amari Wallace and Stubbs back there in the secondary, and then you got Jabari and Chris Ewald right now. And like I said, Ben Hanks, man, you're going to continue to chop wood at Ben Hanks. You're going to continue to chop wood at DJ Pickett, even though he's committed to LSU, right? He was one of the top guys on Miami's board, man. So you already know they're going to continue to chop wood with him, man. But not only did we want Jabari Antoine, big homie, but there was another school. I don't I don't really remember who it was, but I think I saw something. Let's just check it out real quick, bro, and figure out what other school wanted Jabari Antoine.
Happy birthday, Jabari.
Happy birthday, Jabari.
Happy birthday, Jabari.
Well, I know that's who I think it is.
Happy birthday, gang. Happy birthday, Jabari.
Happy birthday. Welcome to DBU, my boy.
Oh, Lord.
Birthday, happy birthday.
I thought you would talk about LSU.
Happy birthday.
What are you dancing for?
Man, what was that? Bro, that's like what the third or fourth time that Florida State has done birthdays and was not successful on the trail. I know Cormarnie McClain was another one.
Man, listen, man. I don't think Florida, outside of LaWayne McCoy, I don't think Florida State outdid us for anybody since Mario been here. Can you name anybody outside? Because we wanted LaWayne McCoy to play DB, of course, but you tried Blunt, he came back. Like, we're not with them or Florida. We're not even worried about them. So I don't know what that was. That's another Norvell. I don't know what that was. That was a circus right there. Appreciate you for that content.
I mean, listen, now that we're talking on Florida State, we got to obviously check in with the ops real quick before we wrap it up here on the first episode of Category 6 Sports. But with the ops, man, Florida State, first and foremost, like, how funny is it, big homie, that we get to come full circle, like, specifically with the linebacker room? I know we just talked about a little bit with secondary and what Tevis Jackson's been able to do, right? But the Florida State, like, missing their top three choices in linebacker room this season so far, and their guy is Randy Shannon, right? A Miami guy. Shannon. They're missing with the Miami guy and Randy Shannon. And we're laying in our linebacker guys with Gavin Nix, Elijah Melendez, and Ezekiel Marcellin. And our linebacker coach, Coach D. Nick, shout out to the Florida State alum, right? So how funny is it we come full circle with that? Pretty hysterical.
Yeah. Randy Shannon, you're doing the Lord's work. I appreciate you. Our linebacker coach, of course, great coach. I like how linebackers played last year. He took Corey Flatt to another height. Kiko came in there, looked excellent. We just need Wesley Bissainthe to step up. That's all. I think he should be first team ACC. I'm not going to stop saying that. But, yeah, the recruiting this year, he already got 3 of his linebackers. My DB coach already got 4 DBs. Come on, man. We
listen. I mean, these Florida State fans, like, speaking of Lord's work, bro, like, I know last week or the week before, you had the 2 big-time defensive tackles for the Florida State Seminoles hop in your space and chop it up with you, and Daryl Jackson and Farmar. Man, well, what are the defensive tackles of Florida State? Why are they not practicing and getting in reps, and instead they're hopping into space for big homies?
I was talking to Farmer, 2 brothers, big brothers. That was in the space.
Okay.
And then I guess somebody called him in there to come into space, and he started yapping. He didn't call me a jit or whatever. His name is Big Production. He has no production. He didn't do anything at Miami. He's done anything at Florida State, and they're spoiling him. This is the recipe for disaster. I don't wish bad on no kid, but the kid needs to be humble. He got to show me someone to feel this shit before he started talking crazy to me and showing up out of thin air. Okay, you're sitting here talking to me, but yet you got a whole football season coming up. You could be in the weight room or watching film to prove me wrong. You worrying about my words. That shows me a lot why Miami didn't want you and we let you leave.
Man,
I'm going on mute.
Bro, like, having D Jackson, Big Production, like, chop it up with you and you just bowed his head, like, that shit was so hysterical. If anybody has not listened to that, y'all gotta make sure you tune into that.
Sure.
Well, I know we got it somewhere in the archives.
He went over his head. He all right though. He gonna be all right.
But, bro, I mean, I don't know if the Florida State fans are all right, though. Now that we're still on the topic of Florida State, before we get to Florida's fan base, but with Florida State, bro, like, are they really serious thinking that they're actually going to be even better or the same that they were last year?
They'll be 8-4.
Bro,
they 8-4.
Because they lost Jordan. They lost their superhero quarterback and Jordan Travis, right? With the weapons at wide receiver that they had. I mean,
they lost. Listen, they lost Benson. They lost the tight end. They lost both of their receivers. They lost both of their linebackers. They lost Dent. They lost the DB that got drafted to the what it is over there. Dang, what's the team the cornerback went to?
I'm not sure, but I know.
Oh
Florida,
man, they
I know
lost so
the
much.
Florida. I know the
You
Florida
gonna
State
forget
fans.
Verse? That's 9. Then you lost Jordan Trap. That's 10. They
I know
lost
the
a lot
Florida.
of production.
I know the Florida
I
State
don't
fans.
see it just jumping because they didn't hit the portal to hit for production this year. They hit the portal to like basically get Alabama players and then it was weird to me. You get Benson, he wasn't productive. You get Earl Little, he hasn't done anything. You get Roydell Williams, he's a solid back, but he's always been a second screen. Look, he's gonna be the second screen behind Tollefili at Florida State. And then you get a linebacker from Auburn. So whatever that means, I don't see it with them this year. I'm sorry. I don't like DJU as a quarterback. I don't think he's nothing like Jordan Travis. His best game was his first game of his career against Notre Dame. Outside of that, he ain't touched them numbers yet. Fact check it.
Listen, I really don't understand what the hype with Florida State and their fan base, especially with their D-line group. Like they really we mentioned big production, no production, right? But I mean, even the fan base of Florida State, I heard someone say in the space the other day that anything Ruben Bain could do, Patrick Payton can do. And I'm like, what? Like, are you?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Patrick Payton is good. He's good.
I like Payton.
He's definitely not
Ruben
Ruben
Bain. Your head. When people start talking like that, they're going over their head.
Come on, man.
And that's when you lose me.
Now, what loses me, though, is like the hype with Marvin Jones, right? I know he's a former 5-star out of high school, but this is a guy that's only played 25
that's
games.
What I'm saying. They're getting players with no production.
No production, bro.
They're trying to fill gaps. They need to start recruiting. When are we going to see some of these freshmen? Hakeem Williams.
Bro.
Somebody freshman. So who's going to play as a freshman?
Listen.
When?
We're talking about filling gaps and who's going to play where. That's the perfect segue to talk about the Florida Gators and their upcoming season, right? Because whether it's recruiting or the players on their current roster, bro, it's like no production.
They're going 4-8, Brad. They're going 4-8.
Oh my goodness, bro! Like, where do we
They're
even?
Going 4-8, Brad.
Where do we even start?
They're going 4-8,
bro. Like,
they're gonna lose to us. They're gonna lose to A&M. They're gonna lose. They may beat Kentucky. They're gonna beat I get them Mississippi State and Kentucky. Yeah. I don't get them UCF. That's a toss-up. But Tennessee, every game behind Tennessee, finito. It's over.
Listen, well, with UF right now, I mean, for one, on the recruiting spectrum, they're on the complete opposite end of the world of where they were last year. So they don't have nothing to talk about from the recruiting world, right?
They're 68 right now.
Bro, not only are they 68, they're like 13 or 14 out of 15 in the SEC in recruiting right now.
They get Vernell Brown.
If
they don't get him.
Straight pitiful, right? Not only in the recruiting world, right? But then when it comes to NIL, one of their biggest boosters backed out. So now they're going to pretty much have to wait until Billy Napier's can. And I'm pretty sure the president of the University of Florida just stepped down. So even the president is wanting to walk away.
You giving me some new information. You say, repeat that?
Yeah, the president.
Their biggest booster stepped down. Then you say the president stepped down?
President stepped down. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was now. I think it was some for medical conditions. I think his wife or something is going through.
Okay, that's understandable.
I mean, you don't want to hear that, obviously, but at the end of the day, man, you have those two things not going for you, and then they've been bashing their head all offseason because they think after losing Travis Etienne and Ricky Purcell that they're somehow better this year. That's all their production. Like we mentioned, Daryl Jackson, big production, no production, but Florida is full of no production. Like
they just lost a first rounder. They just lost Etienne. Then they lost their best defensive lineman, and they already weren't good. Now you're losing your first round receiver that was your only vertical threat because Eugene Wilson, Bubba Screen Wilson, that's all he was catching. He only had 500 yards, no 100-yard. He was the first one All-American. No 100-yard game, not one. He ain't got one in his career. So with that being said, Montreal gonna get a bulk of the carries. His stats were a little inflated. He only went over 100 yards 3 times last year out of 12 games that he played. Then you got Mertz played solid, but you had, you're saying you had Pearsall, but I don't see it anywhere. I don't see it with your O-line. I don't really think you improved that much. Your D-line is a big question mark. I like Shamar James at linebacker. You got Jason Marshall over there. He
trash.
Then you got Moore. He always hurt. Castell, yeah, he can tackle, but he only had one pick. And then you bringing in another safety from Washington that wasn't even you wanted Powell. You didn't even. I don't know what Florida gonna do. I don't see. Man, listen.
Look, it's not very.
They better be this their best bet this year.
It's not very often you want a white guy in the secondary. All right.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you what Florida best bet is this year. They got to beat us if they want any lifeline. But I'm gonna put my shades back on because they're not gonna do that. But yeah, they're 4-8, 5-7 at best.
Bro, I mean, their defensive line, like, I don't even know where to start with them. Like, some of the guys that they're hoping to be productive this year is just they're making up stats to hope that they have stats this year. Like a guy like Justice Boone, who was a former 4-star in high school, who's had 3 years of college, didn't play last season, but in his career, he had 27 tackles and only 1.5 sacks. And this is a guy that they're hoping to either start or be like that next guy off the bench, right? And some of the guys that they're hoping for are coming from programs like Penn that have never played, D1 football like that, man. So I'm very interested to see how Florida shakes out, especially August 31st, because they're replacing Ricky Purcell, who was pretty damn talented, with Elijah Badger. I mean, you talk about inflation. I don't know how his back's going to hold up all season. So we'll see what happens with Elijah, because that's a guy that I know a lot of programs passed on in the offseason because they were a little uncomfortable with how that back was going to be. And Florida took it upon themselves to grab him because they were desperate. They missed out on, wide receiver 1 of Sam Brown, who ended up going to Miami, and they missed out on other guys, right? But one thing I know, these Storm Chasers, live viewers, and anyone tuned in, what they don't want to miss is this show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And
yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So I want to make sure that before we wrap it up, I need the Storm Chasers, the viewers, to hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Make
Love
sure
free is hate is expensive.
Hey, you already know, man. Free. Big homie, man. This was a great first episode, bro. Like I know
we just warming up right now,
bro. Just cooking, bro. And we haven't even gotten any of the good intel that we're able to share yet. And I know in the next upcoming weeks, man, we got the cookout this upcoming weekend. Then we got fall August 1st, where we're gonna have a lot of juicy information that you're not gonna be able to get anywhere else. So make sure you're tapped in the category 6 Sports with me, big homie, man. Go ahead and wrap it up and get these Storm Chasers viewers out of here.
Man, Storm Chasers, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Man, this is just a first show. I appreciate you for tuning in. Like, sharing, subscribing. To all my Storm Chasers, man, let's get it, man. It's the beginning of something big, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Yes, sir, man. It's your boy Brad, big homie, category 6 Sports. We out.
Bow your head. Holla at y'all.